The Past Rediscovered. 54 rare photos of people who made history. Oh, the good old camera. This device has forever changed how we preserve our history, an event or a special moment. Imagine going back in time and meeting the people who made society as we know it, or even seeing them in their everyday lives without the pomp and circumstance of a world-changing event. That's what we've done with our collection of rare photos of historical figures photographed in both ordinary and extraordinary moments. Step aside boring history textbooks. It's time to get a fresh look at the past with these rare photos. From presidents to poets, revolutionaries to royalty, we've dug up some snaps you won't find in your average history class. These images offer a unique glimpse into the lives of some of the most famous and infamous figures of all time, showing them in a different light. Take a look at young Abraham Lincoln, fresh-faced and determined, still unaware he'd soon begin his journey toward the presidency. See the iconic Marie Curie, contemplative as she unravels the mysteries of physics and chemistry. Witness the strength and resilience of Rosa Parks, standing firm in her conviction as she gives new life to the movement for civil rights. This is a true exploration of the annals of history as we bring you these never-before-seen pictures from the 17, 18, and 1900s. Get ready to be amazed, astonished, and, dare we say it, even entertained as we uncover some truly stunning shots of the people who shaped the world we know today. Number 1. Harriet Tubman. Meet Harriet Tubman, the unstoppable abolitionist born Araminta Ross in 1822. She's the woman behind the Underground Railroad operations, which helped enslaved people reach freedom in the free United States and Canada. This photo was snapped around 1885. Number 2. Henry Johnson and Needham Roberts. Henry Johnson was an American soldier who became famous for his bravery in World War I while on watch in the Argonne Forest. He fought off a German attack and saved a fellow soldier despite suffering 21 injuries. His heroism made headlines in the New York World and the Saturday Evening Post, and in 2015 he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor by President Barack Obama. Here he is pictured with Needham Roberts, a fellow soldier and member of the Harlem Hellfighters, who received the Purple Heart and the Croix de Guerre for his bravery in the war. Number 3. Vincent van Gogh. Who knew the man behind the iconic paintings actually had photographs of himself? Van Gogh may have been ahead of his time as a post-impressionist painter, but unfortunately he didn't receive much recognition during his lifetime. However, his sister-in-law made sure his talent didn't go to waste by loaning out his art after his death at 37. This photo was snapped when the artist was only 19, and we're positive it's one of those rare historical photos everyone should see. Number 4. Geronimo. Gogh, best known as Geronimo, was an Apache medicine man regarded as the last native leader to formally surrender to the military. Despite his bravery and determination, he was eventually captured. He spent the last portion of his life as a prisoner of war, admitting on his deathbed how much he regretted surrendering. This picture here is from 1887. Number 5. Marie Curie. Marie Curie was a groundbreaking scientist born in Poland in 1867. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and she also won it twice, first for physics and then for chemistry. This photo of her was taken around 1920 when she was already a well-known and respected scientist. Number 6. Chief Seattle. Chief Seattle was a man of outstanding leadership and diplomacy, serving as the head honcho of the Suquamish and Duwamish people in Washington state. His efforts to establish peaceful relations with the white settlers in the Pacific Northwest was admirable, and it's no wonder that the city of Seattle was named after him. The snap was taken back in 1864. Number 7. Harriet Beecher Stowe. Born in 1811, Harriet Beecher Stowe was a fervent abolitionist and writer. She's famous for penning the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, which she released in 1852. Despite society not really encouraging women to speak in public, she still took the stage to discuss her book and her anti-slavery beliefs. Sometimes her husband or brothers would speak on her behalf when women weren't allowed to speak. This picture of her was taken in 1870. Number 8. Claude Monet. Claude Monet, the iconic French Impressionist painter, spotted with a visitor on a bridge in his beautiful Giverny garden in 1922. Number 9. Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, whose stern expression is captured in this photograph taken between 1847 and 1852, was a prominent figure in the abolitionist movement during the 1800s. He had escaped slavery in Maryland and was known for his strong, fierce persona. Douglass reportedly paid attention to his public image and wanted to present himself as a determined and intense individual. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, a well-known feminist from the 19th century, referred to Douglass as majestic in his wrath. Number 10. Rosa Parks. In February 1956, 73 people were indicted as leaders of the Montgomery bus boycott, the same event for which Rosa Parks was later recognized as the mother of the civil rights movement. Here, Lieutenant D.H. Lackey is fingerprinting Parks as deputies arrest all of them. A grand jury had previously charged 113 African Americans for organizing the boycott. Number 11. Emmeline Pankhurst. Emmeline Pankhurst, leader of the suffragette movement, taken away from Buckingham Palace in London after being arrested for trying to present a petition to George V on May 21, 1914. Number 12. Emily Dickinson. Despite her current insane fame as a poet, Emily Dickinson was not well known during her lifetime. She wrote around 1,800 poems, but only a few were published before her death in 1886. The only known photo of her as an adult is the one shown here, taken in 1847. Number 13. Abraham Lincoln. Born in 1809, the 16th President of the United States is renowned as a highly respected political figure in American history. This photograph of Lincoln was taken when he was 37 years old and working as a lawyer and congressman-elect. It's the oldest photograph known of him. Number 14. Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley, the badass sharpshooter protagonist of Annie Get Your Gun, was a huge celebrity in the late 1800s thanks to her appearances in popular literature and her sharpshooting skills in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Because of her fame, Oakley was snapped way more than anyone born in 1860 probably would have been. Number 15. Johnny Appleseed. Remember the stories of Johnny Appleseed when you were a kid? His real name was John Chapman, born in 1774 in Massachusetts. He was famous for being a pioneer nurseryman and bringing apple trees to several states. Despite his rugged appearance in this photo from the 1840s, he was known for his incredible kindness. Number 16. Lev Tolstoy. Lev Tolstoy, the Russian writer whose fame stems from his novels War and Peace and Anna Karenina, although he was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature every year from 1902 to 1906, it's still seen as a mystery why he never received the Nobel Prize. Despite this, Tolstoy is still considered one of the greatest writers of all time. This photo shows him at age 80 in 1908. Number 17. Butch Cassidy. Butch Cassidy, whose real name was Robert Leroy Parker, was a notorious outlaw in the Wild West. He and his gang, the Wild Bunch, would rob trains and banks. After about 10 years of criminal activity, Butch, his partner Sundance Kid, and Sundance's girlfriend Etta Place fled to Argentina to avoid being caught by the law. This photo was taken in 1900. Number 18. The Wright Brothers. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, were two American aviation geniuses who created, built, and flew the first successful motor-powered airplane. In this photo, Wilbur and Orville are sitting on porch steps of their Dayton home in June 1909. Number 19. Calamity Jane. Martha Jane Canary, also known as Calamity Jane, was a wild woman on the frontier born in 1852. Over the years, there have been so many myths and legends about her, it's hard to know what's real and what's not. This photo was taken in the 1880s. Number 20. John Brown. John Brown was a fierce abolitionist born in 1800. He led a daring raid on Harper's Ferry in West Virginia, which unfortunately didn't go as planned. He was put to death a few months later. African-American photographer Augustus Washington snapped this photo of him around 1846 or 1847. Number 21. Isambard Kingdom Brunel. Beyond just having a dope name, Isambard Kingdom Brunel was a famous British engineer. According to the Design Museum in London, he constructed 25 railway lines, more than 100 bridges, including 5 suspension bridges, 8 pier and dock systems, 3 ships, and a prefabricated Army field hospital. This photo was taken in 1857 and shows Brunel posing in front of the Great Eastern, one of the ships he designed. Number 22. John Herschel. John Herschel was a jack of all trades, excelling in math, chemistry, astronomy, and photography. Not only did he create the blueprint, he also came up with the Julian day calendar that astronomers still use today. This photo of him was taken in 1867 by Julia Margaret Cameron, one of the most important portraitists of the 19th century. Number 23. Rasputin. Born in Siberia in 1869, Grigory Rasputin was a Russian mystic known for his friendship with Tsar Nicholas II and his family. He became famous for his supposed healing abilities and was considered the secret behind the Russian monarchy. After multiple assassination attempts, he was eventually killed by Prince Felix Yusupov in 1916. This photo was taken just before his untimely demise. Number 24. Hannah Stilly Gorby. Hannah Stilly Gorby may not be a well-known name, but she holds a notable title as one of the oldest people to ever have their picture taken. Gorby was born around 1746 and was photographed in 1840, a whopping 94 years later. To give you a sense of how long ago that was, Hannah was already in her late 30s when the American Revolution started. Number 25. Daniel F. Bakeman. A photograph of Daniel F. Bakeman, the last surviving soldier of the Revolutionary War to receive a veteran's pension, was taken in 1868 when he was 109 years old. He passed away the following year. Number 26. Ulysses S. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant, born Hiram Ulysses Grant, was a military officer and later the 18th President of the United States from 1869 to 1877. As president, he worked hard to protect African Americans during Reconstruction and signed the bill that led to the establishment of the Justice Department. This picture was taken in the 1870s. Number 27. Louis Victor Bayot. Napoleon faced his ultimate defeat in the Battle of Waterloo, a legendary clash that significantly impacted the next 2 centuries. Here's a snapshot of Louis Victor Bayot, a veteran survivor of the battle, taken in the 1890s. He passed away in 1898 when he was almost 105 years old. Number 28. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, the famous multi-talented English scientist, is most well known for his groundbreaking work on evolution. He proposed that all living things have a shared ancestor, which is now considered a fundamental concept in science. Number 29. Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, America's 26th POTUS, showing off his horseback jumping skills by leaping over a fence in 1902. Number 30. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria was born in 1819, even before the invention of photography. But thanks to her long life, legendary 63-year reign, and immense power, she became one of the most photographed women in the first century of photography. Number 31. The 9 Sovereigns. On May 20th, 1910, the largest group of monarchs ever captured in a photograph gathered at Windsor Castle in England to pay respect at the funeral of King Edward VII of the United Kingdom. From left to right, the standing monarchs include Haakon VII of Norway, Ferdinand of Bulgaria, Manuel II of Portugal, Wilhelm II of Germany, George I of Greece, and Albert I of Belgium. Seated from left to right were Alfonso XIII of Spain, George V of the United Kingdom, and Frederick VIII of Denmark. Number 32. Samuel, Uncle Sam, Wilson. Did you know that the person behind the iconic Uncle Sam character on the "I Want You" for the U.S. Army poster was real? His name was Samuel Wilson, born in 1766, and he worked as a meat packer in Troy, New York. During the War of 1812, Wilson supplied troops with meat that he shipped in barrels labeled U.S., short for the United States. However, people began joking that it actually stood for Uncle Sam, and the nickname caught on. The above photograph of Wilson, taken in the 1850s, is his only known photograph. Number 33. Arthur Wellesley. Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington, led the British Army to invade against Napoleon in the Napoleonic Wars. His win at the Battle of Waterloo made him one of Europe's most celebrated military leaders. After his success on the battlefield, the Duke served as Prime Minister from 1828 to 1830. This pic of him was snapped in 1844. Number 34. James K. Polk. James K. Polk may not be a household name, but he was incredibly successful during his presidency from 1845 to 1849. He accomplished everything on his to-do list, including adding 3 territories to the U.S., resolving a border dispute with Texas, reducing tariffs, and boosting the power of the presidency. Here's a photo of him from 1849. Number 35. King George V and Tsar Nicholas II. Tsar Nicholas II of Russia on the left, and King George V of the United Kingdom on the right, posing together with their military uniforms in Berlin in 1913. The two royals were also first cousins. Number 36. John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States and son of founding father John Adams, is often referred to by historians as being underrated. Despite his contributions to politics, Adams struggled with feelings of inadequacy due to his family's prominent political background. This photo of him was taken in 1843, which is crazy considering he was born in the 1700s and lived long enough to be photographed. Number 37. Jack Dempsey, Harry Houdini, and Benny Leonard. In this epic photo from the 1920s, Jack Dempsey throws a playful punch at Harry Houdini, the famous illusionist and stuntman. Benny Leonard, another boxing legend, looks on with amusement as he holds onto Houdini. Of course, this was all just for show. These guys were simply posing for a publicity event. Number 38. Joseph Stalin, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Winston Churchill. The world's power in one picture. Joseph Stalin, Franklin Roosevelt, and Winston Churchill sit together on the porch of the Soviet legation at Tehran during the conference in 1943.